Saurabh, and you're listening to my favorite talk show, The Weekly Show with Aditya.
On this beautiful yet polluted Wednesday morning. This is episode 441 on the 10th of November 2021 as this talk show heads towards another milestone. Plus, remember, there is a special surprise coming your way on the 450th episode. So wait for it with excitement. Wait for the 450th episode with excitement and do not forget to watch it. But for now, let's work on episode number 441 on the 10th of November 2021. Right now, what we have is a win-win situation. There is a new coach, there's a new captain. So I'm not surprised by the individuals who have been selected as the coach and the captain. They had been lobbied for a major part of a year. No one from the cricket board to the external organization to the fanatics wanted the two individuals who have now done their job and have resigned from their post or their contract is over. No one liked their apparent attitude, but that's from person to person. They did their job. It doesn't surprise me that there's a new captain of the 20 over format, someone who has been waiting on this, sweating on this since 2007 2008, and now this individual gets a chance. Unlike an Indian captain who is appointed at the age of 25, 26 and gets at least 4 5 years to make the team. Right now, after the performance of 2021, which I still feel is a 9 out of 10 performance, but has been heavily criticized because of team selection, the performance of certain players. Don't be surprised when you read the newspaper that the top all rounder of the team, with his back issues, injury issues, him not being able to bowl, so much of unnecessary controversy created over his usefulness in the team, that he cannot go alone as a batter if he cannot bowl. There has been so much conversation around this. It does baffle me a lot, but that's the way it is. If it baffles you, it baffles you. So let's not get caught in this. But there's a new captain, there's a new coach, and what does that mean? For me, coaches come and go. Yes, one individual stayed for 4 years. Do we really want to look at the legacy of a specific individual? Because that really doesn't matter. Coaches come and go. There have been really strange coaches who have been appointed. Does a coach make a difference in this sport? I think the coach is an irrelevant person in this particular sport. If you have heard my previous episodes, you would understand what I'm saying, where I'm coming from. So, yes, the coach and the captain, they are revolving doors. They'll be here today, they won't be here tomorrow. and then their performance evaluation is done. That's how the two individuals who are no longer at the top are no longer at the top. Age factor being a factor for one of them, performance factor and not winning a championship being a factor for the other, though it was announced in such a way that it came from the individual and no way was it made to look that the governing body pressurized that individual to call it off. Nobody called it off on their own. There is always pressure, but it's put in such a way, it's presented in such a way that the particular individual says, I have done everything. It's time for a new and a fresh face to take over. I'm sure you wouldn't have said this if India was participating in the match tonight. So yes, does make a difference, but I think the coach come and go. How much of a difference will a coach make? In cricket, the coach makes no difference. We don't know what happens behind the scenes in the locker room, off camera, because once the sport starts, the sits on the coach is sitting there in the locker room or in the dugout, whatever you may want to call it, taking notes, but more than that, the coach can't do anything. I've already given my difference between a hockey coach, a football coach, and a cricket coach. While the former hockey and football, the coaches are involved or the managers are involved intimately in every decision. In cricket, they don't have that kind of involvement once the sport starts. They have to be passive, they need to have a poker face, they need to have a flat face, they need to be Janus faced, and that's how it is. So does it make a difference if there's a new coach? Well, contract always expires. New people have to be appointed. So batting coach, bowling coach, or whatever else is to be done, it's done. But how is that a win-win situation? While the current individual whose coaching contract expired, who will no longer be in that position, it's fine. He did his job. Not winning a championship, well, that's bad luck. So many coaches have come and we haven't even been seen as number one contender. So at least in the past decade, India was seen as a number one contender, did not win, a different story. Let's not get into that part. But the good news is that sanity and lucid vocabulary, all languages, returns to commentary after 4 years. And we all know who he is. He has influenced the commentary box. Everyone is waiting for him. And it would be a dream team when one day I team up with this individual. Nobody will be able to even come close. At best, it would be what was once upon a time a Mark Nicholas and a Richie Beno combination, a Richie Beno Tony Gray combination, even add Jeffrey Boycott to the mix. And there's one more decent commentator from England in Nasser Hussain, but Nasser Hussain is a little biased towards the England team. We'll talk more on that. So for me, with this individual's coaching contract expiring, no longer in that domain, a new coach, new captain, come and go. So whatever happens, happens. Sanity and lucid vocabulary returns to commentary after 4 years. The lot who had been doing the commentary for the past 4.5 years were just warming the bench. Once he comes, no one will be able to even speak a word, and that's how it is. And now, while the captain has been appointed, I am a little disappointed at the individual who has been named the captain. Yes, he's good, he has some domestic success. Age not being a factor, I would have preferred an inexperienced individual to become the captain. and thrown a gauntlet and a spanner in the works of pseudo media and print and electronic media and light the world on fire on why this individual became the captain. For me, the number one contenders were, well, Shreyas Iyer, Rahul, Pant, Gaikwad, Ishan Kishan, and then Rohit. Rohit was always going to go from being number two to number one, and that's how it is. And then there's always the split captaincy debate happening, this, that, but it will happen. How much of a difference will it make? I don't know. If you have seen the team selected for the 20 over tournament versus New Zealand, a few players have been rested, a few have been dropped, though I don't know what's the difference. And then I'm not surprised about Hardik Pandya's drop or whatever, because once upon a time, another all rounder from the same city was also treated in this manner. When he came to the team 18 years ago, he was an 18-year-old prodigy, an 18-year-old special talent, didn't last in the team for too long. By 2012, he was plagued with injuries, but it happens with every all-rounder. And then he was out of the team. He was done. By 2012, 2013, that player, former, was done. And I had already told you, they will do this with Pandya. I don't know what's the world's attitude or that small cricket ecosystem's issues with this particular player. Is it the attitude? Is it the fact that he's expected to make 40 of 10 balls in every match, or the whole, or when you read the newspaper you're so gullible that you fall for it that he is not bowling? So I can give you so many examples of so many players in teams who are not even bowling. I don't want to give examples because there's no point appropriating them or putting them on a pedestal, but I can give a lot of examples who are in the team but they are not contributing anything except in the batting. So that's how it is. That's how the scenario is. I'm not surprised. He will be brought back. They are looking at other all-rounders. They should have gone with backup all-rounders for the 20 over World Cup. Do I think the team selection for the 20 over World Cup was erroneous? No. Didn't go as per plan, but I do not think the team selection was erroneous. So why did they suddenly wake up after a 3-2 performance and get new faces or rest old faces? I don't know. Bumrah is still 28, so he's not exactly old. He's old in terms of time spent as a player, not time spent overall. Shami, not old. Yes, white ball, red ball debate can keep on happening. Can he play white ball? Can he play red ball? And then a few players have been given an extension as if we are doing some kind of favor on them. So I'll talk about the team selected in another episode, but these were my number one contenders and these were the top 5. Under 30, Rahul is technically 29, so 29-30, and Rahul as a vice captain, not surprised at all. It was always going to happen. So imagine if you read in the newspaper tomorrow, you have Rohit and Rahul as the captain coach, and then you have Rohit and Rahul as the captain vice captain. So interesting situation. But the best news apart from all these players being thrown out, dropped, new players being selected, as I said, none of them are new in terms of you know them. Well, we don't know them, but we know them as they have spent time in the team or in the domestic circuit or somewhere. So that's how it is. As for me, sanity and lucid vocabulary returns to the commentary after 4 years. Will he immediately join? No, he may want a break from all the bubble nonsense, all the jail bubble nonsense. That's a possibility. But everyone knows he will return. Nobody will even think twice if he does. And as I said, everyone else was just a substitute. Their time is over, in my view. I said we want fresh faces in the commentary box. Well, I'm always there. As far as fresh faces are concerned, well, for now you need person who has some sanity and a lucid vocabulary, not all the insane talk you hear, not and now you will never hear him once say the white ball doesn't swing, the red ball swings, pitch, this, that's not coming. But no more appropriation, but that's the good news so far. Let's take a short break. Welcome back after the break. Now let's discuss the semi finalist. Well, as I said on Monday, if you reach the semi final, you're supposed to be the top four teams who have reached the semi final, though a couple of teams have reached in controversial manners, but that's in the vault. Let's not go there. Who will win? No idea. Newspapers saying too close to call. I do not agree with that because that's cliche. But there is obviously some bias if hypothetically India was one of the teams who had reached, they would have obviously faced England or Australia, depending on there would have been one or two. People would have still said, yes, they have reached. But looking at their previous semi final records, they won't go into the finals. So in a way, it's good that India have not reached the semi-finals because it would have been still been a negative campaigning. Of course, New Zealand or Pakistan, one of the teams, would have missed a chance, missed the bus. That's how it is. But for now, just like Elvis left the building, the captain and the coach, along with the team, have left the building. Let's focus on these four teams and why they deserve. We'll get into the details of why they deserve to be here. They have reached, no, I don't know who is going to win. Four decent teams, because when you reach, you are decent. Two will be knocked out. One will be knocked out today. One will be knocked out tomorrow. And then who? And then you would rather have this bunch take on each other in a final than in a semi-final, because at least in a final you are a runner-up. There's a silver medal chance. Here you were out. Number three you would get. They would. Who would be knocked out? I don't know. How will they plan? Well, they have their plans ready, and as I said, it's going to be an interesting competition. No mistakes because it's a knockout, it's a semi final, it's a chance for two of these teams to become first time champions, for a team like New Zealand to become a Grand Slam champion. What is that? I will get into the details. So let's see when 14 ends, and you will read the newspaper on 15, whether it's digital or analog or hard copy. You will see an article as to why each of these four teams deserve to win or were number one contenders. So let's take a look one by one why each of these teams, it's cliche but it's an interesting discussion, why each of these four teams deserve to be in the semi-final, and hopefully two of them in the final and two of them unluckily knocked out. Which two? That will be decided by tomorrow night. That two are in, two are out. But that's the nature of a semi-final. That's how it is. Two are in, two are out. Let's take a look as to how this whole thing stands out. The first team, England. Why England as contenders to win the championship? Everyone knows that 2015 World Cup exit, more humiliating than India's exit, equal to India's 2007 ODI World Cup exit. So a lot of similarities there. And then they have shown their ruthless aggression, six hitting. Bowling hasn't been that great, or it has evolved in the past 2 years, but it's been six hitting, and Butler and Royce suddenly, who were on the fringes. You can't have a team without Butler and Roy and Bairstow, who were till 2012, 2013, 2014 on the fringe. They were there, but not good enough. And suddenly they opened up, they got that aggression going. So they have been showing ruthless aggression. And then, of course, it's the Morgan Collingwood combine. Remember, Collingwood and Morgan were teammates when they won their first championship in 2010. And now, after the 29 success, here they are. Collingwood as a coach, batting coach, bowling coach, fielding coach, head coach, irrelevant. He's in the coaching staff. Morgan, probably his last championship as a player, as a captain, and overall, because if he doesn't contribute, he's out. So he's lucky to be part of the team because of his astute captaincy, though half the time it's not needed. If you are chasing 120, you don't need astute captaincy when you have to defend. So let's see what happens. So they combined in 2010 to win the championship. Can they combine again as a coach captain to win the championship? Interesting combination with aggressive thoughts and no backing down. Come and hit sixes for fun, and that's how it will be. We'll see. And then this is one thing everyone appreciates. Pool of white ball specialists. Never heard this term. Started hearing this term in the last 6 years. No all format fatigue, which we blame the Indian team for. A few players playing all the three formats, and then fatigue coming into play, and all the bio bubble jail-like situation coming into play. Rest and no resting, and this and that pressure coming into the question. So they have been appreciated for this. And then could join West Indies with more than 2 World Championship trophies across limited over formats. So if they do win, they will join West Indies as the only team to win 220-over World Cups and 150-over World Cup. West Indies has 2 each along with the Junior World Cup. So if they do win, they will join West Indies with 2 championship trophies, though India is also a contender. Has taken some time, but that will happen. So after, if England win, that's how their appreciation will be eulogized. That's how they will be, the song will be sung. Let's move on as to see why the other teams are also deserving if they win. Who wins? I don't know. When you read semi-finals, it's 25% each. All 4 deserve to win. Let's look at New Zealand as contenders. They have come close before. A cerebral captain who shows his aggression through his tactics, no outward aggression, which a certain captain has been criticized for, sometimes appreciated. We can debate on that. A group of professional players, they do their job. They don't have big names. I don't know what the term big name means. They have a limited pool. I don't even know what that means. Every team has a limited pool, because let me clear this up. I've seen this article written, and I have heard people speak on this. India has a population of 130 crore. Why can't we find 11 players? That's an absolute stupid thing to say. The population has nothing to do with a team winning a competition. There is no relation to it. And why can't we find 11 players? Maybe not everybody wants to play the sport. It doesn't make sense to say that we have 140 crore, why can't we find good athletes? Not everyone wants to become an athlete. Maybe 1,000 out of 130 crore people want to become an athlete. Not all 1,000 go through because of the challenging rules of the various athletics federations. That's for a different day, but that's my answer. This comparison is nonsensical. So, and then we call them as a group of nice guys. What does the term nice guys mean? I don't know. They are not nice guys. Just because they smile, they're not aggressive, they're not coming at your face, it doesn't mean that they are nice guys. We don't know what happens in the locker room, whether they are punching each other, whether they're shouting, cheering. We don't know. If they're angry, they don't show it. That's their nature and nurture. So there is no concept of nice guys because they're smiling and lovey-dovey. It doesn't work. And then they are still smarting over the 2019 laws. So for me, that wasn't a loss. That was an absolute blunder by the International Cricket Board, and I will continue to lean on that, but more on that later. So for now, technically they are 50 over World Cup finalists and runners up. So close. And then they won the Test Championship just a few months ago. So that's also fresh in the mind. So they're already 2-0 in terms of formats, and they just need the 20 over World Cup to be Grand Slam champions. So for me, that's how it is. It'll be a complete package. And then they have also won the mini World Cup, the Champions Trophy 21 years ago. So a lot of these players were in school at that time, but we can put that in the locker for now. So that's how, if they win, this is what you will see in the newspapers, in the pseudo media. Let's look at the third team who can win. If you have reached the semi-finals, either you are in or you are out. There is no third thing. You are in, you are out. It's black and white, it's straight. You lose, you are out. You win, you go to the next round. Why Australia as number one contenders? Now this is again very interesting. They haven't won a major trophy since 2015. They've come close in 2016, 2019. 2019 semi-finalists, 2016 they came close. It wasn't exactly a very remembering kind of a campaign. The 20 over World Cup, they came close in 2007 as semi-finalists and 2010 as runners-up. And then Australia not winning a cricket championship does not feel right. When a team which has won 5 times, whether it's 50 overs, 20 overs, we tend to put them on a pedestal. We tend to give them a divine status. We are still obsessed with a few retirees who retired so long ago, now that they're in their 50s and with white hair and whatnot. So that's how it is. And then it is almost the same pool of players playing now which won the 2015 championship. So Warner, Finch, Smith, Stark, Hazelwood, Marsh, Cummins and Maxwell were part of the 2015 win, and they get another chance in 2021 with the newbies being Zampa and Stoinis and a couple of more players. So if they do win, it will be a rarity that one team in almost the same group goes on to win championships just 6 years after they won their 50 over championship. And if Australia do it, they'll make it 6 trophies, 5 plus 1. So yes, Australia, if they do win, This is how it will be looked at. And then the final team, our neighboring country, no one gave them a look because of the predicted unpredictability. As everyone has said, we don't know which side of our neighbors will come on the field. And yes, 2021 they have surprised us, and there were controversies before that. There was a change of staff, cancellation of tournaments before, a lot of controversies, lot of animosity happening before, and suddenly, as the captain said, we are a united lot. The what does that mean? I don't know, but that's what they mean. So now there's a new pool of players. Some of them have been playing for a while, for over 25 years. There's a new captain over the past 1 year, and then if you ask a few fanatics from that country, the romance of 1992, where they were not even given a chance, 2009, they came close in 2007, looms again. And if they do win, things will change. All the previous animosities will be buried. And like England, if England wins, this will happen. And then if our neighboring country wins, then they will join West Indies with more than 2 World Championship trophies across limited over formats, in this case 3. So this is how it will be looked at as to why these 4 teams are the best 4. Well, if you reach the semi-final, you are the best 4, even if you had a start-stop and a controversial tournament. But that's how it is, and that's how these 4 teams stack up. So nothing about this whole thing surprises me. Let's take a short break. So this ends episode number 441 on the 10th of November 2021. And now stay tuned for the next episode.
For more awesome content, tune in to the next episode of the weekly show with
And I will be back with episode number 442 on the 12th of November 2021 to discuss the finals and the final team of the tournament and see as to how the 2 semi-finals progressed, and the 2 teams who were knocked out and the 2 teams who made it further. But before that, another short break. while you wait for the next episode, what should you do? You should purchase these three books and put them in your must read books column. The complete collected short stories, The Fifth Empire, and Beyond the TV, 33 cinematic productions that transformed the silver screen. Put these in your must read books column and don't forget to purchase a copy right now. And while you wait for the next episode and are eager to purchase a copy, like and subscribe to this channel right now. I repeat, like and subscribe to this channel right now.